Greetings and welcome to the Dave. In this video, we'll be taking a look at feeding baby guppies. What do they eat and when do you start feeding them? We'll also take a look at one simple and effective way to keep baby guppies from being eaten by the adult fish. However, that's just the beginning of our story, because towards the end of the video, we'll get up close and personal with these bizarre little animals known as vinegar eels. And now, without any further delay, let's begin our story. Shortly after they're born, baby guppies swim to the surface of the water and begin searching for food. The baby guppies seen here are hunting for a tiny aquatic worm known as the vinegar eel. Though not technically an eel, these bizarre little worms are fully aquatic and are quite capable of surviving in a freshwater aquarium for a week or more. Guppies and vinegar eels make the perfect combination of predator and prey because both animals gather near the surface of the water. The baby guppies go to the surface of the aquarium to look for food, while the vinegar eels need to reach the surface in order to breathe. So both the predator and the prey meet at the top of the aquarium. Since baby guppies tend to gather near the surface, the ideal food for them is one that floats or remains near the surface of the water. Flake food is an ideal choice that works well for feeding both the adults and their babies. The flake food can be crushed into very small pieces so that you can feed even the smallest baby guppies. Live foods such as these vinegar eels or baby brine shrimp are not really needed by the average hobbyist, but it's certainly fun to watch the baby guppies eating live food. Overfeeding is one of the most common mistakes made by new fish keepers, so here's a quick tip to help you avoid problems. If you're feeding your baby guppies flake food, pay close attention to the food as the fish are eating. If you see food landing on the bottom of the tank, then you're probably feeding the fish too much food at one time. One possible exception to this guideline is if the aquarium contains bottom feeders such as catfish or coolie loaches. If this is the case, then you'll want to make sure that there's some food reaching the bottom of the tank for them. Still, it's very important to remember that a buildup of uneaten food will cause your water to become polluted, which will then make your fish sick. Feed sparingly and keep the guppy tank clean. The baby guppies will be ready to eat just a few hours after they're born, but there's no hurry to feed them. They don't need to eat right away. The real concern with baby guppies is not what to feed them or when to feed them, but rather how to keep them from becoming the food. A hungry mother guppy will not hesitate to eat her slower moving children, and baby guppies are the most vulnerable during the first few hours after they're born. If you'd like to see the baby guppies survive, then you'll need to provide them with lots of places to hide. Using an aquatic plant known as guppy grass is probably one of the most effective ways to help keep the baby guppies from being eaten. Guppy grass eliminates the need to remove the pregnant mother or her babies, so all of the guppies can stay in one tank. Guppy grass is easy to grow, and you don't have to use quite as much as you see me using here for it to be effective. It can be planted in the gravel or left to float near the top of the tank. A dense growth of this beautiful plant will definitely help keep the baby guppies from being eaten. Live aquatic plants of any type help clean the water and provide a less stressful environment for the fish, and the more plants that you can provide, the better. Guppy grass and a plant called hornwort are two of the best plants to use with your guppies. And as I mentioned earlier, they eliminate the need to remove the pregnant mother fish and place her in a separate tank or one of those tiny breeder boxes. So I've provided links in the description section below this video that you can use to purchase these aquatic plants to help you keep your baby guppies from being eaten. And now it's time to take a closer look at the hidden world of the vinegar eel. Vinegar eels always swim to the surface of the tank and then go as high as they can in a desperate search for oxygen. Since vinegar eels are fully aquatic, there's no danger that they'll climb out of the tank, and their movements are limited to the thin film of water that surrounds the leaf where it touches the glass. Female vinegar eels are larger than males and are said to have around 50 adorable little worm babies every week or two. In the wild, vinegar eels can be found in fermenting fruits where they feed off of the bacterial colonies that produce vinegar when decaying fruit begins to ferment. This bacterial colony is what turns apples into apple cider vinegar, and it's usually referred to as the mother. Raw vinegar that contains the mother can sometimes produce vinegar eels. These raw vinegars have not been pasteurized or filtered, which would kill both the bacteria and the eels. Vinegar eels can sometimes be found in kombucha drinks, where the bacterial colony used to make the drink, known as the SCOBY, can become infected with these tiny worms. Vinegar eels are harmless, but worms make some people uneasy, especially when they're in something that they eat or drink. An irrational fear of worms is known as vermophobia. However, there are much bigger things to be afraid of than vinegar eels. This vinegar eel is inside a drop of water. However, some of its close relatives that live inside whales can grow to be nearly 30 feet long. If you'd like to purchase a vinegar eel culture, I've provided a link in the description section beneath this video that you can use to help you get started. And that's it for this video. For more quality productions like these, please remember to subscribe to this channel and use the notification bell so that you can be alerted the next time I release a video. And, as always, I thank you for your time.